So believe it or not, man, and it hasn't been painted since the 60s. It just hasn't really cost that much to get it done. The slowness has been making all the pieces and parts go missing, rotten, or looks like it's there.
All right.
But it ain't.
This meeting of the Middletown City Historic Commission is called to order. We'll begin with the roll call.
Roger Daniel.
Here.
Levi Kramer.
Here.
Jeremy Lucanis.
Here.
Matt Dixon.
Here.
Andy Stabler.
Here.
Jim Stabler, sorry. Andy Brickler.
Here.
Sam Cordwell. Here. You have quorum.
All right. We'll proceed with the swearing in of witnesses. Will all those that are going to testify, please stand and raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony that you give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth? I do. All right. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. All
For
right.
the record, I abstain. I was not here for those.
All right. The minutes of the June 16th, 2022 meeting of the Middletown Historic Commission have been approved. Let's see. The first item on the agenda is a certificate of appropriateness for the South Main Historic District, being 808 South Main Street. Do we have a staff report on that?
We do. So we have a COA for a new home addition and the installation of a driveway. The property is a two-story single-family residential dwelling built in 1907. The property is zoned R3 medium-density residential. The home exterior is primarily wood siding and is located in the South Main Historic District. To the right is an image of the home currently. The applicant is proposing a home addition that you'll see to the left of the screen, or the left of the house, which will be to the south side here, and then a driveway coming in up to the home. This is a rendering of the home. This is a slightly outdated version of the rendering. The home will, and the home addition will match the current coloring of the house now. Currently it shows kind of a light brown taupe color, but the applicant did say it'll match the current colors of the home. Here's another rendering from the back. And here's what the floor plan will look like. The applicant stated the purpose of this new home addition is to allow the applicant to transition into living in it permanently. They live in it currently, sorry. The exact verbiage is kind of slipping my mind, but it's to be able to live in it for the rest of their lives. Because currently the upstairs is where their bedroom is, where the bathroom is, and it's not something that's going to be feasible for the rest of their life. So it's the new bedroom will be downstairs with the new master bathroom. So this is a process that's been taking quite some time after talking to the applicant and going through the history of this property. The lot currently to the south of the current residential dwelling was purchased by the property owner. It was, the lot was consolidated. The lot was brought into the South Main Historic District. And since purchasing the property, the applicant has made many updates to the home that has came before you previously. This is the last iteration, she believes, where it's just the development of the new home addition and then the driveway. This is the location of where the new home addition and the new driveway will go.
I move to waive the reading of the code and zoning requirements.
Thank you. So additionally, it would just be a certificate of zoning compliance, a concrete permit for a new driveway entrance from the public street into the private yard, and then a building permit for the new home. Any person directly affected by a decision of the zoning code administrator or the historic commission shall have the right to appeal to the planning commission, provided that a written application for appeal is filed within 20 calendar days after the decision, notice, or order was serviced.
That's covered in the statutes. That
Oh,
we're
okay.
reading. Yeah,
Yep, sorry.
that's all good.
That ends my staff report.
All right. All right, let's go ahead and get a second to that motion. And
I'll second.
all right, all in favor of waiving the reading of the ordinances?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion is approved. Okay, we will open up the public forum. Is the applicant present?
She is not.
All right. Is anyone present that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak in opposition to the application?
I move to close the public forum.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Forgive me, Chairman, we need a second on that.
Yes. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, public forum is closed. Okay. Does anybody in the commission wish to discuss the application?
I thought we had already approved this a long time ago.
No, it was discussed when we were approving the addition of the lot that it was going to be constructed on to the district, but the actual application for the addition, I don't believe was before us. I don't think we had all this, these sketches, but perhaps I'm misrecalling or,
That's what I recall too.
okay. All right.
I don't see any issues with this. I'll move to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
All right, can we have a roll call vote on that?
Andy Brickler,
Yes.
Jim Stabler,
Yes.
Matt Dixon,
Yes.
Jamie McKinnis, Levi Kramer,
Yes.
Roger Daniel.
Yes.
All right, the certificate of appropriateness as for 808 South Main Street is approved. The next item on the agenda is a certificate of appropriateness for the Highlands Historic District, 200 the Alameda, for the construction of a fence. Do we have a staff report?
We do. Before us, we have a COA application for the installation of a 6-foot tall fence. The property is 200 Alameda, is a single-family Tudor home built in 1929. The property is approximately 0.36 acres. The proposal of the work is an installation of a new fence. This is an example that was provided by the applicant. This is an approximate location of where the fence will go. As you see, they are tying into a fence on the right-hand side of the property to 104, the Alameda. And the new fence would go along the back of their property, the side of their property, and then right across the front, not going in front of the house, but leading up to it. And there would be a driveway gate that would be an automatic crossing the driveway. This is a zoning map showing you where the property would be. It's to your left-hand side. There'd be fencing in. The yellow line going down here, coming across, and then going up the front, not to cross the front of the house, and then having a gate come across the driveway. And that ends my staff report.
Is the applicant here?
The applicant is.
Do you wish to speak to the application?
What Mr. James has,
For the purposes of the hearing, if you can, come up, identify yourself to the record, confirm that you were sworn in earlier, and speak into the microphone.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Constantino. I am the owner of 200 the Alameda, and what Mr. Metz described as our plan is correct, and I have sworn in.
All right. Did you have any statement that you wanted to make regarding it? All right. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
Fence is going to be on your side of the property line, I imagine? Fine by me.
All right. Thank you. Is there any member of the public that wishes to speak in favor of the application? Is there any member of the public that wishes to speak in opposition to the application?
Move to close the public forum on this agenda item.
You have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same side. The public forum is closed. Does the commission have any discussion of the application?
I think it looks fine.
All right, do we have a motion?
Move to approve the application as submitted.
I'll second.
All right, can we request a roll call vote?
Roger Daniel,
Yes.
Levi Kramer,
Yes.
Jamie Lucanus,
Yes.
Matt Dixon,
Yes.
Jim Stabler,
Yes.
Andy Berkler,
Yes.
Sam Cornwell.
All right, the certificate of appropriateness for 200 the Alameda is approved as submitted. All right, does the staff have any old business that we need to review?
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
The only old business that we had on the agenda was an infographic that we discussed last month was to have the members of the Historic Commission think of what would potentially need to be on this infographic that would be handed out to potential new homeowners or property owners of historic buildings being added into the historic districts, whether it's the Highlands or South Main or Central or the Oakland if it does become historic district.
We had, back when we, like 2018, we had some packets that were put together by Brainwave,
Brainwave, okay.
which was Dan Barton and Dan Mason. And they had come up with, part of the agreement that we had with them was that they would provide us with infill housing options for the Oakland Historic
I
District.
think you're jumping topics. I think he's referring to when we had the conversation of an infograph to share with new people moving in on what it means to be an historic district,
Run on
not
business.
the actual infill. I know you're seeing on the screen, but
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so that, and then we talked about, well, not we, but you guys talked about expanding the historic districts
Yeah,
last, and then it was like an infographic that we could share with them about the benefits of being
Inside
added to the historic
district.
district. Yeah.
So basically, we're helping to advise the communications department, essentially.
Well, we talked about partnering the Historic Commission's hopes of expanding the historic district with our historic preservation plan, because we are in the works of developing a contract to have a historic preservation plan done sometime either later this year or maybe early next year. Talking about if they're already going out taking pictures of all the historic homes, registering them, why not try to partner both of those together at the same time?
we had discussion that this is a good time, just politically in the city, city staff, this is a good time to look at things like adding properties on the.
Oh, I'm totally fine with that. I'm just a little confused as to why communications isn't involved with a conversation about what, let's face it, would be marketing if this were a company.
Yeah, I don't think we have that, so.
I don't think we got that far. I think it's
Okay.
just we were trying to brainstorm what all should be on the
Gotcha.
infographic.
Okay.
And this is to market to, say, somebody at the end of South Main or at the edge of the Highlands, that we would give to them about the benefits of.
I think it's two ways, right? I think that's like, hey, as we're using it as a tool to entice people, but then we also need to have, I think, the same tool for when, give out to our real estate community. So when they sell a house in the historic district, they have something to give them other than, hey, good luck, right? Oh, go read the 1212 code or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Basically like the booklets that used to be.
Yep.
To exist, the ones that describe to the historic district, the one that describes the historic preservation plan, probably something that basically sets out the particular ordinances that they're under.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for just kind of like, we talked it, we never had real firm action items, right? And you're saying, hey,
Yeah.
coming back, hey, what do you guys want to do, right?
Yep.
Do you have ideas?
I think identifying what types of permits or what would require a permit, what would require a COA would be necessary, but then also talking about home price values, all the benefits of,
Tax
Being-
incentives.
right.
I mean, but you practically have to write a little book, basically.
Yep.
saying
Mhm.
These are the advantages of being in a historic district.
Right,
So
which
it
is
sounds
why,
like we need two items, this kind of book that we give for people that are coming into this area, and then an infographic that we're using to help sort of tell the folks in what is going to be the expanded district why they should be excited about it. It's like two different.
I think you can achieve both, right?
Okay.
Really do in the single packet, because your intent is the same, right? Is to educate people what it means to be in a historic.
Sure.
You know, one question would be: is there any benchmarking we can do with other cities if they have something, right? Instead of just trying to start from scratch. You know, look at some of these. You know, Dayton historical. Are they doing anything?
And is this something that can be essentially developed as part of the historic preservation plan?
And I think that's what. That's what.
yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to,
Pulling the two together at the same time.
yep.
I think that's
I think
huge
you're-
win.
I think you're headed the right way on it.
I think we could probably just wrap that up with me asking if any of you guys have any ideas or thoughts or things that you might want within that infographic or the one pager. If you could just email that to me individually, that would be great.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, the goal, you know, if I'm looking at what we're trying to achieve there is education of the codes, right? Get all those, what COA, what's required there. But then the other thing is the outside benefit, not just the rules and regulations, but like you mentioned, you know, the property values and stuff like that. So I think it needs to be a double-edged sword, because what we've done in the past, like I know when I moved here, someone just handed me the code and he said, here you go, right? You got a welcome bag at least.
But, I mean, to that point, you still don't know what that all means,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? You know, so I think we're definitely headed in the right direction.
I know in the past, they used to scrape either the water bill records or the auditor for new people moving in. And this goes back to Marty's time. And he would just mail them a copy of the 1212? Put everybody on the spot. Yeah, 1212 code. He would just send them that and a letter stating that you're in the historic district. So I think if we just pretty much do that, that covers us legally, that covers our legal obligation to, here is the code in its entirety, and welcome to your old house.
Yeah, and that's, yeah. I mean, that's definitely. I think what he's talking about, James talking about, is like we can make it even better, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of just being like, here you go.
Mhm.
Is there an opportunity to do the infograph? And I think if you're alluding to what I think you said is, as we're doing the plan, can we do this at the same time? Is that firm capable of providing us input on that?
Well, I was hoping, in our last month's discussion, it was kind of the Historic Commission in partnership with myself, creating like a single page infographic. And then I was hoping to try to piggyback off of the Historic Preservation Plan, whatever company that may be, that we end up contracting with when they move forward, is I ask them, hey, when you go out and you're taking pictures of these homes, because they're the ones that sometimes you'll see that we have a really nice description of a home that comes forward with a COA, and it's, you know, a page and a half description of a home. That's where I get those from, was from our previous historic preservation plan. And they go out and they take pictures and they detail these homes, and they talk about the significant value, architectural value, sometimes like a social value. We've talked in the past about certain famous people eating at certain restaurants and the benefits of that, right? The history. So when they're developing their historic preservation plan, they're going out, I was hoping that maybe we could piggyback off that partnership when I work with them to hand out the infographic, not just to existing residents of the historical districts, but of potential new homes that could be added to the Highlands or be added to South Main or Central.
Okay, that helps me understand. With that, I kind of Levi, what you were saying, I kind of agree. We got to bring in the communication department, because you got to put the branding and all this and all that.
And I mean, that's their area of expertise.
But I think what James is asking us for is to provide input what's in the document.
and
They can
that's-
design it, but they're not going to have all the details we want.
Right.
So we're here in full attendance tonight.
Yep.
We're not missing anybody, so we all heard the ask.
Yep.
If there's something we want to add to it, this is the time to do it, so.
I mean, I think one call to that Ohio society that helps you register
Yep.
districts.
The Historic Connect,
You'll probably get a dozen of them.
Yep, that's a good point.
Heritage Ohio.
Yeah, Heritage
Yeah.
Ohio.
I'll do a little digging with them.
So I guess we're on to new business now.
Unless we have anything about code enforcement, has there been anything
No.
initiated?
So initially, code enforcement, I looked into this. The reason that you were able to receive such a detailed list from Annette is that she was a code enforcement officer previously. That was what she did, and her only position was over the historic communities or historic districts. So she was the one that was able to have all that. So that's why that system has not followed through, because I'm not a code enforcement officer. I'm city planner. My roles are vastly different than what hers were. If that is something that you are wanting, that is something that we can work around.
Well, it's just that the practice has been, if there are issues, they're supposed to be being presented to us. And we know that there are issues, and yet it's been, nearly a year since,
Maybe longer than that, Matt.
yeah, since anything regarding noncompliance with the ordinance has been brought to us, and that is concerning.
So I think our next ask would be, can we have the code enforcement person or persons for over those two zones? If it's the same person or two different people, could they come to the next meeting? So we can kind of discuss with them.
Or I'd even say, I was like, yeah, that'd be great, but if they can't, can they provide us a staff report on what's open? Right, 'cause that's what we're really asking for,
Yeah.
is, hey, what's open, we review it. You know, we need to get that process back going, so to your point is, we know what's going on.
Yeah, because we've got some houses on South Main that were tracking right, and in Oakland was tracking in the correct direction, and now we have kind of a stagnant situation with that.
I know, James, you sent out a map. I don't know, did you send it to everybody, or was that just to me? I can't remember.
I send it out to everybody.
Yeah, so I know there's some head count changes and people moving around, someone's on maternity leave, so I know that department's kind of challenged right now.
Yeah.
Because what I remember right is when it was a net was over all historic,
Right.
right? And then now you guys went to a zone type base where multiple people can cover, there's more than one person covering historic districts.
Correct.
But the thing is, we are supposed to be deciding if these structures are in danger.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
if we need to,
Move in.
do something with them. But if we're not getting any information,
I agree.
then we can't do that.
Okay, I'll check in on that.
So that means within the next 30 days, we probably won't meet again in under 30 days unless something comes up. So I mean, that gives 30 days for us to figure out some way to get a code enforcement person.
Person here or something.
Yeah.
Then I guess we're on to new business then.
So the new business that I have for you is the infill elevation discussion. That is, I provided a packet to each of you. It's just 3 simple pages. It's an example of what an infill house could be within the Oakland district. Want to make a note that it's still a conservancy district, and this is only to get your perspective on what you think about an infill house looking like this. And then get any type of opinion back on it, and then for me to take notes back to staff.
First glance, it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, and I know, like, Jeremy, you were going down the path talking about, you know, 'cause
Yeah.
about, they had like elevation examples, and they kind of had it like, if this house next to it, the sight lines and all this stuff, I remember seeing that
So we paid,
presentation.
we paid like 150 grand to a consultant to develop specifically plans for Oakland. And we voted and approved those.
A guideline, right? Is that what we
Yeah,
called it?
we went through and voted and approved exactly what the infill housing would look like years ago.
Okay,
So-
do you know like a rough timeline so I could try to dig for that?
Let me,
Or
I can look.
rough date maybe?
Yeah. Oh, 2018 and on, but let me see if I can't get you any closer.
Been more than that, closer. Yeah, my first look at it, I agree with Jeremy, like this is kind of what they were showing, right? Like,
Yeah,
I do want to note that those homes would not be covered in vinyl.
yeah, because that's what it kind of looks like.
I don't know if the illustration details that enough for you or not, but they would not be covered in vinyl. And this is a standard floor plan. This is the first floor. And this is your second floor.
Yeah. It's nice to see that there'll be functional houses, but on the whole, our interest is pretty much only in the exterior.
Yep.
But I think 3 bedrooms upstairs like that, you know, I think that sort of modernizes and,
I'd live in this.
what'd you say, Levi?
I'd live in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it looks great. I mean,
I wouldn't put vinyl on it, but
Right.
if we splashed a little deeper overhang on there
okay, now we're getting beyond.
with some ornamental detail on the porch and in the eave, I think we'd have a grand slam that people would be hard pressed not to walk up and just buy.
Mhm.
But you're right, Levi, I am getting carried away.
Well, you're talking about the exterior at least, so.
Yeah. Because if we're gonna sell houses in that neighborhood, we gotta blow people's socks off when they walk. They gotta walk up and just not be able to walk away from it.
Curb appeal, baby.
Basically want the facade and the parts that are visible from the streets to look consistent with the
And,
Cohesiveness,
surrounding,
yeah.
you know.
and that's what Brainwave did, and they had like a whole layout as to. I'll get it to you, James, and then you can forward it to everybody that's the new guys.
Thank you.
But even this is fine. Do you need us to vote on that, or are you just seeking opinions?
I believe at this point in time is just to seek opinion.
Anybody disagree with it?
No.
This is the time.
I have
came
a
up
hard
with this?
time imagining it would be an eyesore.
Yeah.
So we're only gonna have one? I mean, you wouldn't want
Just
6 of
like
these
a-
right next to each other.
And I think this is just a conceptual, right, and yeah.
Just
But yeah,
short- just
not
short.
6
So
of
if
these
you're
right next to.
voting for this, you don't want this.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and they're meant to be infill, well, where you have one house that's been taken
Right.
out and putting something back.
But you get it in Oakland, you've got several right next to each other.
Yep.
Well, there are clusters of similar houses already there. so.
What we don't really want is the houses for humanity that we see around a few places.
We may be limited in how much we can prevent new construction. But
I don't have anything else to add.
Good.
Other than enforcement, I was gonna say the same thing as Matt. It would be really nice to get back on to talking about enforcement. Because I know the Highlands isn't as much under pressure as South Main and Oakland, but there are houses everywhere that are struggling, and it's our responsibility to put pressure on that where necessary.
I move to adjourn unless there's anything else.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This meeting of the Middletown Historic Commission is adjourned.
All right, well, it was nice seeing you guys. We usually don't start